So, friends, I'm really delighted to be able to interview and introduce to you Stephen Manga, who is going to be on placement with us over the next few weeks between now and Easter. And normally we would do this in church, obviously, but I thought it would be great to introduce Stephen to you all and to ask him a few questions so that we can get to know him a little bit. So, Stephen, we can see that you're in your office. In your hospital up in London, so we're grateful that you've given us the time to do this. First of all, just tell us a little bit about who you are, about your family, and kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you, Phil, and good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be able to join you at St Mary's, albeit under very strange circumstances. So, as Phil says, I'm Steve Manga, and I'm married to Fiona, and we live out in Chobham, and I've been attending St Martin's in East Horsley for the last couple of years now. And I'm in the final year of my training for ordained local ministry, which means that, God willing, I'll be ordained this year and be affiliated very closely with St Martin's, and hoping very much actually to work very much in the parish and the diocese and further afield. I am, as Phil said, I'm a doctor. I'm actually a clinical oncologist. And for those of you in the know, that means I'm a cancer specialist. I have a particular interest in prostate cancer. And I'm sitting here in my clinic conducting telephone consultations now, as I've been doing for the last few months, given the current situation with coronavirus.
And what are you doing so after your clinics? Yes. You told me a bit earlier, but what will you do after you run your clinics? Where will you dash off to?
So normally I have quite a public profile. So I do a lot of research into prostate cancer. I have a laboratory at UCL, and normally I would be leaving the clinic and going off to do some sort of research orientated projects or work, or helping some of my students. In the last couple of weeks, I've now changed jobs somewhat in that I'm also a vaccinator. Very much a buzzword these days, but a vaccinator is someone who delivers the vaccines, and I go up to St Mary's Hospital in London, in Paddington, and I'll be vaccinating NHS staff and some of the vulnerable in the community, which I do now 3 days a week. So we're on a shift system, and I'm hoping very much that we'll improve and increase the services that we're offering with vaccination.
Well, we're massively grateful, Steve, to you and to your colleagues for what you're doing. I know you've got your normal responsibilities, and then you do that. And I know that the evenings go on quite late for you. Now, so you're on the LMP program. How's that been? What have you enjoyed about that?
So the LMP is the local ministry program. That's a program that I attend in the Diocese of Guildford. And I'm in the third year of my training. It's a 3-year course. I'm on something called an individual pathway, because actually I've done some theological training already. I did some initial training in Salisbury at Serum College. I actually have a master's in theology, and I've always been interested in theology for quite some time. My training has been somewhat torturous, because I actually started off exploring my call to ordained ministry whilst in London. But then all sorts of things happened, including I just got very busy with my work and wasn't really able to fully participate in the ministry that I thought I was being called to. So I had a little bit of a gap, and then I readjusted, and one of the big readjustments was actually finding a parish more local to me. You're probably aware I do quite a bit of traveling. I commute into London, and I have a national profile for prostate cancer. So I do a lot of traveling, and it's a real privilege now to find somewhere a little more local, where I now worship with Fiona at East Horsley. Feel very much settled. I still don't know the whole community very well at Horsley, but from what I know, it's been very welcoming, and that's been important for me. So I come with a little bit of experience of academic theological training.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of vocational work. I've done some missionary work in Cairo, in Egypt. And I'm affiliated to a school in India, which I help out at. So I've got a little bit of pastoral knowledge, both at home and abroad. And I hope very much that I'll be able to share that with you.
Yeah.
As you get to know me and I get to know you a little bit better. I'm on placement with you for 3 months, and hopefully that takes us up to Easter. And as Phil, as you're saying, we'll have to work out ways of being creative and adaptive in the current situation.
That's right. Well, listening to that, I mean, I think the St. Mary's congregation may well think, well, this guy's more qualified than you are, Phil. So we'll expect a higher level of teaching when Steve gets to preach a little later on. And it's that what an amazing sort of blend of experience that you have. Obviously, you would normally have been on placement. You would have been with us physically. What do you think you would like to try and get out of your time with us between now and Easter?
So I come from a very traditional form of worship. I've originated as high church, and I'm very much moving out of my comfort zone, which is exactly what a placement is supposed to be. So I come really not with any presupposition, but really with an openness and a willingness really to appreciate how diverse ministry can be, and hopefully to be informed that there's more than one way of doing ministry. And I hope very much to be able to take something back to St. Martin's, even though it's a few hundred yards down the road, that actually, would enhance what I'm doing already. So, and I've already, it's very privileged to watch the service on YouTube on Sunday, and Phil, listen to your sermon, your speech on Hebrews. I'm very much looking forward to actually getting to grips with it in a lot more detail, which is not something traditionally I've been used to. We very much have a lectionary based sermon, and so looking at the ways in which you worship, looking at your style of worship, looking at different ways that you encompass your own tradition and how that compares with mine, I think will be important. I have to do a project with the LMP on this placement, and part and parcel of that is something called theological reflection, whereby I observe something about the life at your parish, compare it with what I'm used to, and write a reflection about it. So I'm very much looking forward to getting engaged with that, and hopefully feel we'll have some further discussions about that in due course.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm a little bit apprehensive, I have to say, because I'm very much always sort of stuck in my ways in the past, and that was a big criticism of me. So I'm very much coming to you with open arms, and I hope very much that this would be transformative for me.
Well, Steve, we hope that we will be able to meet some of those goals and expectations for you. We're really delighted to have you. We hope that over the course of the next few weeks, we might get into March and be able to have some physical services, and so we'll be able to meet you properly. We look forward to when you're going to be speaking to us, and say to all the Samaritans, look, do keep an eye out for Steve. We'll come up with a good plan to get you some good exposure to the breadth of our ministry here at Samaritans. But thank you so much, Steve, for giving up your time on a busy day, particularly at the moment. You're going to be hugely in our prayers, you and all your colleagues. We know it's a difficult time. We see that, but we hugely value you and the team there in your hospital, and I'm just massively grateful for what you guys have done for the country. So thank you very much. I will let you go now, and we'll see you again soon.
Great. Thank you very much, and to everyone listening.